We are going to bring the Thursday, March 3rd Webster Town Board meeting to order. Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dolly, if you could do roll call.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Here.
Councilman Abbott.
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Present.
Councilman Cahill.
Okay,
Council-
here.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Here.
Town Attorney Genesi.
Present.
Okay, we do have some people in attendance tonight, thank you. Does anybody want to take the podium for any comments? Yeah. Speechless. Okay, then we will move on.
What did you just say?
He said, keep doing a good job. I think he was talking to you,
what,
Jen.
what did you say?
No comment? I'm
You
speechless?
said, I've never
Okay,
heard that.
You know what? He's trying to draw this out, Bill.
Of course he
He's
is.
trying to draw this out. There's no bet tonight. Dolly, as usual, you are right on the ball of keeping the minutes up to date. I reviewed the February 17th board minutes, and I make a motion we approve them.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Well, Councilwoman Wynn, you had your first foray into reviewing the bills this week, huh? Isn't
Yes.
that fun?
Very fun.
Yeah, fun.
Hey, it's a lot of education, you know, I enjoy it.
Well, it's your motion to make if you think that they looked okay.
Yes, they seem to be, you know, everything, you know, in tax, and I propose that we pay the bills.
Second.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye, and I went through the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, and I make a motion we approve those.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
And speaking of our Director of Finance, our next item up, Paul Adams, I'll give you the baton.
Yes, Tom, we have a resolution to approve the final 2021 budget transfers. Just a little cleanup before we formally close the year within our software program. Some of the revenue items came up a little short, like the fitness center classes and memberships. The court, the fines collected by the court were a little short of the original budget. Interest earnings was short as we continue to live with record low interest rates. From what I understand, that's about to change. Things will be starting to creep up. But we came out short on the budget. But a couple of revenue items were actually over, such as sales tax and mortgage tax. They were substantially over. So we have transfers to move some money around on the revenue side, and on the expense side, there's just a handful, just routine, relatively immaterial changes.
I know that the board members had gotten digital versions of these a day or two ago, and they're in the packet. Any questions or comments on these?
No.
No.
I'm not surprised because Paul usually makes them very easy for us to understand. So I make a motion to approve the final 2021 budget transfers as presented by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott.
Aye.
Councilman Cahill.
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
And I just want to say that I think this is like the 7th year in a row or whatever that the budget for 2021, the actuals, expenses I think came in totality lower than we budgeted, and revenues came in higher.
That's correct.
And that doesn't need an accounting degree to understand. That's good fiscal management. And that takes a team of people, department heads, board members, so nicely done, everybody. Well, this one I think, is it Mary and or Josh?
No, I'll take this one. So this item deals with abandoning an existing sanitary sewer easement and reestablishing one in a different configuration. This is located in the Westwood Estates subdivision that was approved back in 2019 on the former Webster West Golf Course. So the northernmost property has a small access drive off of Salt Road to the rear of that property. Basically, the way that it was originally designed, approved, and constructed does not work for maneuverability of the town's flush truck, which was the whole intent of obtaining that easement. So at the same time, the new homeowner of that property had expressed an interest in building a shed in the backyard. However, most of the backyard is covered with easements. So we went back to the drawing board and tried to reconfigure an easement that would work better for the town while also allowing the homeowner to have an unencumbered area in his backyard to construct a shed. So in your packets, I believe I provided you a map with the current configuration of the existing easement and the proposed reconfiguration that would essentially just cover the access drive and carve out a little spot in the homeowner's backyard for a shed without the need for a license agreement. So that is a summary of this item, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone might have.
Jenny, John, any questions? Bill, Patty?
I do not,
All
no.
right. Well, Attorney Genesi, you'll be much more succinct at hitting on the high points of reading this motion.
Yes, I thank Director Artuso for his explanation of why it's being done. I'll just discuss very briefly the mechanics. We do have an existing easement. The town will prepare an abandonment, a quitclaim deed, and the pertinent legal documents required by the state of New York. Present those to the owner. Is the owner present tonight? I guess not. Okay. Mr. Newcomb will have to reach out to me. I will take care of getting the documents to him so that he might be able to abandon or record the abandonment of the easement, but we will also require him to sign a new easement.
Correct.
So that's basically it.
Yep, and so that, we're making that motion to abandon and reestablish a sanitary sewer easement at 360 Anna Circle, tax map ID 050.04-9-21. That is the motion.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
All right, I think this is you, Mary, right?
It's a little bit of Pat and I guess. I can just quickly explain it. So, 662 Galleon Drive, Mr. McMinn's in the audience right now. He's planning on building a single-family home in the last parcel within this neighborhood that's currently undeveloped. And based on the retention pond that's on his property, it was constructed wider than design. So the original intent was to have the driveway come off of Treasure Circle, and it no longer can be built over on that part of the property. So he's going to have to come off of Galleon Drive and cross the drainage easement with a culvert structure. So it's just a licensing agreement for that utility work. And then Pat's here in support of it because it'll be within his drainage easement, so.
Yeah, we worked quite a bit on this to make sure it didn't hinder our ability to maintain the drainage through that area. It's a pretty big drainage course that goes along the front of this property. It's a very unique lot, but the configuration that we've come to now with working with the future homeowner should not cause us any issues. So the current configuration is very good, which is why I'm supportive of him pursuing and attaining a licensing agreement to put that facility within the drainage easement.
I gotta tell you, we almost are thinking about putting a seat at the board table for you. You've been in enough on, this is a unique. What's that? Your property gets a lot of special attention by the boards and.
I admire your dedication to this project, I gotta tell you. Yes,
Boy,
you
are you
are.
ever. Well, Charlie, I don't know if I got.
Well, I'd like to comment if I could.
Sure.
Supervisor.
Please do.
All right, Mr. McMinn's here. We had an issue about your address, so I think we're all set on. And you signing the easement. If everything is in order with the easement, I will prepare the license agreement, and I will get that to you. You will pay for the filing of that as well. Probably it's going to be roughly the same. That's basically it. I have your contact information. You have mine, I believe. Well, I'll give you here's my card, so you can come up and get it, okay? And that is my
Charlie-
email.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
Charlie, I have the,
Okay. you can-
Paperwork right here.
If you want to stick around I don't think we're going to be long.
We are not, unless something unusual happens.
All right, that
Okay.
would be fine. So in any event, this is a little bit different than most of the easements where we're talking about a fence or a shed being placed. This is actually going to be construction over the easement. I think you're going to put in a culvert, correct? And
Yeah, there's a natural bottom culvert proposed, which has walls and then just an arch top to put the driveway over, so it allows free flow of the existing
So I'll change the
waterway.
wording of our standard license agreement because we're not talking so much about removal. The odds are that the homeowner's not going to be able to remove this or change the placement of it as a rule.
No, we would maintain the flow through there, but obviously in a catastrophic situation, it
Oh, no.
it
I'll-
could come
I'll
out.
make sure the
You know
town
what I
will
mean?
have-
Depending on
the town
clogging
will
and stuff.
have
Based on the design, he's had engineers looked at it, coordinated with Army Corps, all the proper entities, so I don't anticipate any problem like that. But again, we do these things for situations that we don't expect, not for
Sure.
what we're hoping happens. So, no, it wouldn't really be an option long-term to remove his driveway,
Right.
correct?
Okay. Well, in that case, can I just make a motion to approve a license agreement for the installation of a driveway and culvert within the drainage easement at 662 Galleon Drive, tax map ID 063.15-4-31.
Second?
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye?
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn?
aye.
Councilwoman Wynn, since you are the liaison to the library, would you like to tackle the next agenda item?
Okay, we're gonna have a resolution to appoint Margaret Edmond to the Webster Library Board to complete the term of Julianne Angie, expiring December 31st, 2022.
Second.
Councilwoman Wynn?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
I just want to say, I think this is a wonderful appointment. I know Peggy Eman, she's been instrumental and active in the library for years, and I know she'll be a real value add to that library board.
Great.
I agree.
Well, our last item on the agenda tonight, before a tabled item, I'm going to hand the baton to Town Attorney Charlie Genesi on this one, just to explain.
This is the rough matter?
Yes.
Yes, all right. The reason I asked that this be placed before the board is because there will, if the board approves, be an expenditure of town monies to resolve a lawsuit. This is a federal lawsuit commenced in the United States District Court for the Western District of New York back in September of 2020. It involves a repossession of an automobile. Our police department was involved. The matter did go to our insurance company, and who has very fine attorneys out of Buffalo, and they handled the matter, handled the discovery, and the the investigation of it, and I was in touch with them numerous times, as were the chief of police and other, the officers involved. It was determined that this matter would not be resolved, as oftentimes they are, by motion or by summary judgment, and we decided to go with the route of mediation rather than with the court's blessing and actually preference. So we went to mediation. The matter did go to mediation a couple of weeks ago. The mediation did end up with a suggestion and that the matter be resolved and settled for the amount of $25,000, which happens to be our deductible, this being a civil rights lawsuit. So the attorneys who handled the matter, myself, the chief of police, the officers, all agreed that that was probably a just and proper solution to this matter, and rather than have it go to a federal jury, which might cost us much more.
Well, and Charlie, you and I were on the a teleconference the day before mediation with our insurance companies, a law firm and attorneys, and they got into great detail of why this thing could drag out for a year to 2 years, and anytime you go to trial,
Right.
you know, there's no guarantee of anything, and especially in the atmosphere we're in the world today.
And I would agree with that, plus the fact is that the amount requested was much more than this.
Yes.
And if most people don't know, but I think the town board members do, if the insurance company comes up with a settlement offer and the town board rejects it, then we're pretty much bound by that number. And anything over would be out of our pocket in any event. So we would be bound if there was any sort of a verdict up to $25,000 to the $25,000. So.
And, you know, certainly I want to open, before we make this motion, to have the board okay this settlement. I would say two things. One, I think back in October, November, we went into executive session for the proper reason of discussing a lawsuit on this situation. So the board at that time was made aware of this lawsuit. And the second thing I would say is that where I'm very big on transparency, and I'll tell you anything you want to know, when you get into the settlement of a lawsuit, I want to just make sure the board members know certain questions you may want to ask about specificity on this case. I don't know, Charlie, if there really can be answered. The suit was filed. You can go and people can go and foil that suit and
Correct.
easily access it. They don't even need to foil it, and they can see at least what the claim was.
Correct.
But as far as us,
Yeah, I would rather
you
not
know,
get into the amount of settlement, but there was a settlement amount discussed,
Right.
which was more than this,
Yeah.
with the town board last fall, yes.
So that's my preface. Not to take the wind out of anybody's sails of any questions they may have on this before we vote.
Just so the town board knows too, the amount will be paid by the insurance company. They will then send an invoice to the town, probably to me, and I'll pass it on to the finance director, and if he has any questions, he can run them by me.
Paul, not off the top of my head, but when we sat down for the annual renewal of insurance, certain lawsuits going on, active lawsuits, that the insurance company had already risen the reserve to quantify that into our renewal rate for this year. I think the reserve that was for this case is higher than what we're settling.
That's what I recall as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
So,
a little bit higher.
yeah.
So,
Just in case anybody had any questions that, well, great, we're settling, but is that gonna affect our insurance rates? I think the insurance company thought it was gonna be worse.
yeah, it improves our position from where they thought we would end up.
Yeah. Any questions on this? All right, then I am going to make a motion for the settlement on the Ruff versus the Town of Webster lawsuit for $25,000.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty,
Aye?
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn.
Aye.
Okay, and last but not least, a tabled item from February 17th meeting. Art, you wanna chime in on anything about this?
I will, and so this is a IMA between the town of Webster and the town of Penfield for a sewer bypass on State Road. The town of Penfield will be covering all costs for this bypass. They will also be covering all engineering and overseeing the project along with the sewer department. Once completed, it'll be dedicated back to the town of Webster. However, the town of Penfield will hold a 2-year performance guarantee on it. So this will also help our flow a little bit further to the west, and will also give Penfield the opportunity to send more flow to us.
Great work.
Yeah, any questions from the board?
And the Penfield Board we were waiting for them to pass this, so that has happened?
So they did pass this last night at their
Great.
board meeting. I did confirm that this afternoon. This was it was a lot of back and forth. It was a group effort with Charlie, Mary, and Denise, and the team over at Penfield, but we stuck with it and we got it done.
Great.
Great.
Great work.
Well, then I make a motion to accept the Penfield sewer, I can't make this motion. Sorry, Betty, you'd think I'd learn.
So I will make a motion to accept the Penfield Sewer Bypass IMA terms and authorize the supervisor to sign said IMA.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Councilwoman Wynn,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye. Well, that concludes our agenda tonight, since hopefully, knock on wood, this is our last non-live televised meeting. There is no chance for call-ins, so I would just, basically, before we put it away, any last words? Josh? Mary?
I'll just mention that the Sandbar Park project is out to bid, and we are receiving bids on March 23rd. So we're excited. We're less than 3 weeks away for getting those costs in, so,
Great.
yeah.
Paul?
Everything's good on the finance side. I spent the last couple of days working on reconciling our capital projects. If you don't know, when we have a construction project, we actually account for it as a separate little fund. And for the year, we actually had 29 of these going. During the year, we closed 8 of them, added about 4. So there's about 20-some projects that are ongoing right now. So we've got a lot going on in town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Art?
What do we have going on? We're wrapping up phase 1 of our plant project. We're close to wrapping up the evaluation of our Vosburg pump station work there. We had our kickoff meeting today for call it our phase 2 of the plant project, and it went very well. There's a bunch of other stuff, but those are the highlights.
Pat?
Yeah, we're out just continuing to salt and remove snow and ice as needed. Hopefully, that's starting to come toward an end as we head towards spring here. That those numbers should go down, and we'll be out doing any restoration that's needed on lawns and stuff like that, and getting geared up for our summer projects. Some work on IMA situations in Webster Park, and for the county to do road maintenance, as well as of our own capital improvement projects. Working with some utility companies in town to get them permits within our right-of-way. Greenlight and Frontier putting a lot of infrastructure into the town right now to upgrade services to us. So working closely with them, and yeah, just out there keeping after it.
Great. Bill?
My 2 department heads took care of it.
You're a great delegator, Bill, no question about that. Patty?
Well, my department had touched on it, but I want to say that I was part of the kickoff meeting today, and I am truly impressed with the team that we have working on this. Our performance energy contractors are, they're impressive. And the team that they have assembled to make this project work, and
Yeah.
I look forward to it. I did say it's going to be a very fast pace. I said we need to fasten our seatbelts, and we're off and running.
Charlie?
Well, there's a lot going on. The department heads who are all very busy and therefore keeping me busy, so we're doing fine.
Yep. What do I say, Mary? It'll all work out, right? Eternal optimist. Jenny?
Okay. I just want to say, thanks for everybody that been helping, supporting us, and be safe out there. Thanks, Paul, for coming in today, and support our Webster Library and our museum. I just want to take a 1 sentence. This is different, but I just want to say that, our thought and prayers are with the Ukraine and its people, and I hope that they all will, find safe for their loved one.
Thank you, Jenny. I'm glad that you said
Well
it.
said.
We'd
Thank
be
you.
remiss if we didn't. John?
Well, I had an opportunity to attend my first IT meeting, which was very interesting. We have some good things coming this year. I think Steve's going to present at the next workshop, or next board meeting?
If I don't have Kim here to help me with scheduling, I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's coming up, let's just
Yeah.
put it that way. Some interesting things are about to take place. And so last thing was, I was, and my son were very, very happy to, well, he's very happy, and I'm happy too, that he was able to attend school without wearing a mask.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and a lot more parents are getting involved and being vocal with school boards, and I think that's a very positive thing.
And we always end with Dolly.
Town clerk's office continues to collect town and county taxes. The second installment was due on Monday, the 28th. The third installment will be due at the end of March.
Thanks. Well, that concludes tonight's board meeting.